and they can spend the money, all using the mobile phone.
It's recording.
And it's not even a smartphone. But here, basically, we cannot do that. We don't have the apps or have the technology. So this is a big problem. I suppose, as our minutes run down here, a little bit discussion point, where are we going, I guess, in this country, in terms of this not only the security question, but coming up to date with 2015 technology? Because right now, we're just sort of out there. The bridge between digital, analog, although we no longer, well, we still have analog, I guess, but basically everything is digital. We're trying to get to fiber, and we haven't quite got there. Oh. So we're still trying to get even fiber. A friend of mine, his wife came from Thailand, and she was out in some remote village, and they had fiber out there. And here, many parts of the U.S., we only have DSL, and it's a little bit better than dial-up. So we have a lot of problems, and that adds also to your security problems. Very antiquated system, sort of like having a dial-up system, and who knows, maybe you'll get that, maybe you won't. You're running on something like XP. So you very outdated system there. So you really got problems. And all of these systems interact with, eventually, with these enterprise type operations, because you're doing your banking online. You have a dial-up connection, you're still trying to bank online, and maybe that certificate is out of date or whatever it is, and you're in there trying to check your bank account. So you've got all these problems going. I mean, it's mind-boggling sometimes of what's actually going on with some of these operations. One of the local markets was hacked. It was Cub, I think it was. They got hacked also, and I forget how they got hacked. But I think over Target it came through the cash register and some vendor in Pennsylvania, I think, that had a certificate. But the problem he had was his virus protection was Malware Bytes Consumer Edition, and he only ran it about every 3 or 4 months. So he had no idea what was on his computer. And boom, he shows up there, and the rest is kind of history on that. I guess one final question before we run out of time. What are people that don't use Tor or whatever, what are you doing to secure your tablets, tablets or desktops, I guess?
VPN, that would seem like a similar solution, but I would think it's faster than Tor.
VPN would be, Hillary Clinton had VPN, but her VPN was not secure because she didn't have a certificate. So in other words, if your certificates lapse, your VPN could be worthless.
Yeah, I've heard of a recent exploit. I think it was in Internet Explorer and Chrome that somehow they could demask your VPN IP.
Yeah. That's why you have to use, with the VPN, you have to use something like Tor or whatever, or at least have the old days, a proxy server set up there. And you can get proxy servers, or you can get commercial proxy server, or if you have a network, you'll be behind a proxy server, firewall, etc. Now that's very important. A lot of people, if they have virtually no firewalling at all in their system, maybe they'll have, say, a Windows firewall up there. Maybe they won't. And in other words, everything is just open. But that's usually not where the problem is. The problem is usually where the servers are. And that's usually VPN. And a lot of your problems with VPNs, what are you using? I mean, some people out there, the university was using Novell, of all, probably most people probably remember Novell. But Novell still has some software out there. And they were using it for their classroom exercises, paper, tests, that sort of thing. And that was sort of like a VPN that they were using. Even some medical schools use that sort of stuff. So, I mean, it's sort of you're talking about shaped ahead. It's mind-boggling what some of these characters are doing. And the type of security they have, you have better security on your smartphone. Much better security on your smartphone.
The question, I mean, like, I understand the using invalid secure certificates or using older systems, people are able to get in. I mean, bad characters are able to get in through the system. But at the end of the day, at the other end, we still have a repository, which is like a DB2 database, which is like a database. You still need that user ID and password to get into that database. How are they able to do that?
Well, they fabricate keys. They steal keys. You can make your own certificate, and once you make your own certificate, you're in. And it's like the guy said that once you're into many of these systems, those keys are just lying around. Sometimes some of these people have hundreds of keys, and nobody knows where they are. They've been lost a long time ago, and that's basically what tends to happen. And also, once you get into the system, you can just use snippets of the tools to wait and see. Because most of these guys, what happens is, it takes them 6 months to a year to really set up. So they have all the information they need, and then once that happens, they go in, as they say, get the eggs out of the basket. And by that time, it's too late. They're gone. I mean, they're literally, I know in the case of some of these places, even Target, that once these characters got all these numbers of credit cards, etc., they were literally selling the numbers on site. I mean, the cards on sites, and you could go up there. I don't know what the lease amount you could. We'll say 100. If you wanted 100 credit card numbers, you could buy them, and you had, I believe, 4 hours to make, to use them. And if it didn't work, they'd give you some more numbers or your money back or your Bitcoins back. So that was, literally they had a bazaar going on there where they were selling these numbers.
Money back if it doesn't work. That's
money
awesome.
back if it doesn't work. Yeah, well, you know how it is. And it's based upon also the amount of value on the credit card or the debit card. Because say if you had somebody had a $10,000 limit, you could buy a number of those. Now, how you got all this stuff delivered eventually, I don't know, but I haven't heard how many people are actually caught using these numbers. So in other words, you could have 100 numbers. I remember in the computer business, once we had some characters from someplace. Anyway, they were buying memory, and that was in days when memory was very expensive. They had 10 credit card numbers, and they went through, and eventually it came back, and of course the bank debits your account and it doesn't work out. It was kind of funny that this particular functionary took an order with 10 different credit card numbers. So that kind of thing evidently happens. There was an article in the paper where Nordstrom or someplace like that. There was some clerk with this other person. The individual had a $100 limit on their credit card, and this person was able to manipulate where they had a $10,000 limit or whatever, and they ended up with thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. So I mean, there's all kinds of ways out there that you can manipulate things with all these old systems. But this is, I think, the biggest problem that people don't quite understand. Many of these enterprise operations are running systems 15, 20 years old. I'm talking about the OSs out there. And worse than that, in the mainframe side, you don't even want to get into it. You got systems as old as I am out there that have been running since the 50s and 60s. And some of those, the banks are still running those things. And the holes there, who knows? I mean, it's just amazing. Anyone else have any comments at all? Well, that's it. We have no more. Thank you.